Now the time has come to 'tis the season. Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review. And this movie review is going to be for the third installment of the franchise I'm currently reviewing. And this is going to be kicking off the Christmas movies I will be reviewing this year. And I'm sorry I didn't use the normal intro, guys. I'll try to make a Christmas intro, but didn't have time to make one, so anyway. But the point is, this is going to be the first Christmas movie this year that I will be reviewing. Now that I reviewed the first two films in this franchise, we'll be reviewing the third one. The third one is a Christmas movie. And that film was going to be for 2011's A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas, or when it came to theaters, it was called A Very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. So yeah. But now let's get on with the plot of this movie. Well, the plot is about 6 or 7 years have elapsed since they escaped Guantanamo Bay, and it left Harold and Kumar estranged from one another with very different families, friends, and lives. But when Kumar unexpectedly arrives on Harold's doorstep during the holiday season with a mysterious package in hand, he inadvertently burns down Harold's father-in-law's beloved Christmas tree, and now to fix the problem, Harold and Kumar must reunite again and embark on a mission through New York City to find the perfect Christmas tree, once again stumbling into trouble in every single turn. So yeah, how's this made? Well, in April 2009, Kal Penn accepted a position in the Obama administration as an associate director of the White House Office of Public Liaison. When asked if his new job would mean no more Harold and Kumar films, he said it was probably true for the time being. But then, A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas was announced in May 2009 and for originally going to be released in December 2010. At the earliest and possibly deferred to the 2011 holiday season. John Hurwitz and Hayden Schlossberg returned to write the film while Tostra Scholzen directed, and Greg Shapiro returned as producer. Penn left his job at the White House on June 2010 to reprise his role as Kumar in the third movie of this franchise. Filming then took place in Detroit, Los Angeles, and New York City from June to August 2010, with the use of Panavision Genesis HD and Elementor Technica 3D rig. The film was released in real... And then the movie would go on to be released in RealD 3D. And animators from Leica even created this scene involving where Harold and Kumar are clay animated. And after filming was completed, Penn then returned to the White House. Joe Penn went on a tour to promote the film in different college towns, and each stop they had a bus hand out munchies. So after all that stuff, and the film was obviously edited and marketed, A Very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas would be released in RealD 3D in the United States on November 4th, 2011 by Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema combined. The film received generally positive critical reception, better than Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay received, with praise for the Christmas theme and performances of Cho, Penn, and Harris, but criticism for some of its humor. As for my reaction, well, I know this is the fan base's favorites of the sequels, despite being considered that for the two sequels. I kind of find this to be my least favorite of the franchise for kind of a few reasons. Like, first of all, okay, this movie's not terrible. Before you go thinking I hate this movie, I don't. I decently like it. But I find it the weakest. Because, first off, this movie kind of ruined Kumar's happy ending at the end of Escape from Guantanamo Bay. And it even has him and Harold be separated to start, even though they kind of reconciled near the climax of the second film, where there were a few starters. And this movie went into the laziest cliche at the time with certain sequels during this time, and they just had to go make it 3D. This was back when, like, every movie was just trying to cash in on Avatar's success with 3D. Hence, the reason Avatar was so successful is because of the 3D. So Hollywood decided, let's make every one of our sequels, every one of our big budget movies, or every movie we release in 3D. Because Avatar did it so well. Yeah. Like, God, like, 3D started getting annoying at this point. The 3D in title is literally just a gimmick. It's not subtle, and it's not there to emphasize action sequences or dazzle the audience with its spectacular abilities. It's there to assault the audience one character while obviously hawking a brand name mentioned 3D television set and all its revolutionary gee-whiz characteristics. Points at the audience to remind them early on that you are watching this in 3D. Like, yeah, but then again, 3D TVs were a thing when this movie came out. Like, Harold even wonders about if the whole 3D shtick is already passé, which is pretty well said. And the movie responds to that quickly with a scene designed to astonish the audience and make them feel better about the extra dough they just spent to rent their 3D glasses. Eggs are thrown in slow motion, someone pees on a windshield, a more solid form of fecal matter is splattered across the side of a vehicle, and to achieve the bodily fluid infecta, a 3D ejaculation sequence finds its way towards the audience. Like, plot is secondary to the 3D onslaught. Like, once again, Hal and Kumar find themselves on a mission. And this time, instead of trying to escape jail or try to eat some White Castle burgers, they have to replace the Christmas tree to appease an angry father-in-law who's played by Danny Trejo. The vast majority of the film keeps that particular plotline in the background, so it may focus on more immediate subplots and situations to incorporate more 3D wizardry. There's even some Russian gangsters involved, Santa Claus himself, and yes, Neil Patrick Harris is back again as Neil Patrick Harris, and he survived getting shot at the whorehouse in the second one. Because the post-credit scene of the second one reveals he didn't die. And even though there is a constant barrage of every substance imaginable being hurled at the audience in the third dimension, it is usually effective. Like Kumar still getting by in life with his preferred herb, blows smoke at the camera, which produces a very interesting effect in 3D, and Harold and Kumar also have more depth to their characters than kind of in this one compared to a lot of other stuff. And they significantly expand on that still one joke theme of being high all the time, mainly because the situations they find themselves in are much more life-threatening and outrageous. Despite every effort to attack religion, there's some worthwhile lessons clammed into a very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas that would kind of work for a Christmas movie. Like, Harold and Kumar are forced to confront loyalty, responsibility, aging, and manning up. It's also worth noting that this is the only mainstream non-white comedy series that doesn't rely on race. And granted, there's plenty of grosso and necrotic humor, but the race card spends most of the film in the deck. But you want to know what's kind of really sucks? Something that really bugged me was how Neil Patrick Harris was barely used in this one. Although his picture on the poster actually made it, he wasn't even in the movie as much as it seems like. Like, come to think about it, many of the jokes from White Castle and Guantanamo Bay weren't used at all. Like, when you look at the franchise's three biggest stars, Cho, Penn, and Harris, it becomes clear why the movies work. All three of them have gone on to be successful in all manner of films and television shows, a testament to their acting ability. If they had been written and portrayed as child obnoxious stoners, this Christmas special would have been directed DVD and recast with no-name actors. It'd be one of those crappy sequels. Like Home Alone 4 and 5, A Christmas Story 2, the 2012 one, not the new one that just came out. Or any Home Alone sequel after Home Alone Lost in New York, any of those. Sadly, what has also changed for the modern day Cheech and Chong is kind of the standard jokes, scenarios, and secondary characters. Like gone are the punctuated episodic scenes which define the first two films and saw the duo jumping from situations as memorable as racing a cheater through the woods, attending a bottomless party, hitching a ride with a bull-covered freak show, and sharing a bed with redneck Cyclops Baby. In their latest adventure, Harold and Kumar get tied up by Russian gangsters, hallucinate claymation style done very well by Leica, which was a pretty well good scene. Especially knowing that it had Leica's involvement. And intermittently becoming dancers in a camp stage show, but each new scenario seems more tired than the last, and lacks the originality of both predecessors. And also now kind of gone, but are the comical yet convincing minor characters like the racist Homeland Security agent from the second one with Ron Fox, the infatuated male nurse who was played by Ryan Reynolds in the first film, and the helpless interpreter Ed Helms from the second one. Crucially, weaker ones replace these guys. We got Kumar's new BFF, Adrian, overstays his welcome quick, as kind of does Harold's father-in-law, who is literally played by Danny Trejo. And like, come on, guys, Danny Trejo's in your movie. Do some more with Danny Trejo, please. Like, his character should have had more to do here, but he's just kind of there to just be there for like the beginning and the end, and that's just literally it. And then of course, they also have this wimpish friend played by Thomas Lennon. Sadly, even returning characters like the bickering Jewish stoners, Rosenberg and Goldstein, don't even bring the laughs like they once did, and they're just there for like one scene. And that's literally it. And the script is decent, but what the stupidity they show with them high on weed is a waste. I know that's kind of the whole point of the movie, but it must be funny. Like, the fun was missing out of the stupidity, hence what we found awesome in the first part was obviously not there. Alright, well, like, seriously. And now you know how I mentioned this movie does kind of ruin Kumar's happy ending? Here's what I mean. This movie pretty much starts off with him sitting on this Santa's lap, who's cameo played by Patton Oswalt. He's sitting on his lap because he's actually requesting some weed from him, and he has some weed stored in his car trunk. They smoke it. It turns out Kumar now lives in the apartment from the first movie. That's all now messy, because Kumar hasn't cleaned it up, and it turns out him and Vanessa broke up again. Like, really? After Kumar reconciled with Vanessa and escaped from Guantanamo Bay, they just broke up again? Really? You guys really having a laugh? Like, what? She comes by to announce she's pregnant, but Kumar doesn't pay any attention. He's too busy laughing at the flick's tongue scene from A Christmas Story, which causes her to leave in anger and annoyance. And it also reveals that Kumar actually failed his medical test because his piss showed he was on drugs, and he had to take a drug test. But thankfully Kumar does reconcile with Vanessa again. This time it decides to finally mature here and all, and the ending is at least nice, but I kind of wish, if this were like a sequel, don't try to ruin the happy ending of the previous one. Like, whenever you make a sequel, do it for an actual reason. Don't screw up the happy ending of the previous film, and if you do, have it be for a valid reason, and please have an actual reason to continue a franchise. If your second film ended on a pretty high note, just leave it there. But like specifically, example, Clerks and Clerks 2 had Clerks 3, it sucked. This movie, on the other hand, well, this movie didn't suck, but it just wasn't really needed. But in the end, A Very Harold Kumar 3D Christmas, or A Very Harold Kumar Christmas as it's just called on DVD, is an alright film, but it was not really needed. Well, granted, the first film could have just worked on its own. That movie at least sets up the second installment, so at least the second movie had a reason to be made. However, the previous movie, Escape from Guantanamo Bay, did not set up any sequels, so we really didn't need a third one to be made. It's kind of like Home Alone 1 and 2, but even this movie is still way better than any Home Alone sequel after 2. Oh, and now for my recommendation. So, in the end, I would just recommend streaming this movie, as it would have worked just better as just a Christmas special for TV. Really, not really a movie. Like, you could still have the same actors, you don't have to recast any of them, but I feel like this movie could have just worked better as a direct-to-DVD film. Because this kind of just feels more like a Christmas special than an actual movie. Anyways, that's it for my review of A Very Harold Kumar Christmas. If you're wondering how I'm going to rank A Very Harold Kumar Christmas, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you enjoyed this series so far and want to see a third return of the duo, then I would just recommend streaming this one online to save the time and money this holiday season. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank A Very Harold Kumar Christmas, I'm going to give A Very Harold Kumar Christmas a 6 out of 10. There we go. That wraps up the Harold Kumar series, and that wraps up A Very Harold Kumar Christmas. So you're wondering, what's the next Christmas movie I'm going to review? Well, the next Christmas movie is going to be for a Bill Murray film. And this was for another one of those Christmas Carol adaptations. And this was for one released in the 80s, and it's probably one of Bill Murray's best work. Yes, guys, this was the one where he did his take on Ebenezer Scrooge and A Christmas Carol. So yeah, Scrooged from the 80s is going to be the next film. that I'll be reviewing. And I can't wait to finally talk about this one, because this was a film I should have noticed years ago. Until then, guys, that'll be it for this review. Thank y'all for watching, and if you like this, want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.